Hello everyone, Pierce Nation here. Welcome back to a new deck profile. Today I'll be going over my Meta Altergeist. This deck, I've been working on it for a long time. If you've seen it on the channel once before, not twice, probably 3 times already. This might be the 4th. But with the new Altergeist, I got most of them a max rarity, and they are very powerful. And this is the deck that went 6-4 against Brandon. I just added a side deck to it. So the side deck is mediocre, but for my locals, it hits all the main decks that play there. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at this deck. The side deck is a little jank, but the rest of the deck is pretty damn okay. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. Of course, we're going to start off with 3 multi-faker. Multi-faker is your basic whole engine in this deck, because Altergeist run off of traps more than anything. So with multi-faker, you can special summon it off a trap, and special summon another Altergeist. Cannot special summon monsters turn except Altergeist monsters. So how neat. So with that, there is multi-faker, who is able to special summon off of traps. Keep that in mind. He is one of the best cards in this deck. Next we play at 3 is 3 Marinator. The Altergeist engine, for the most part, in every deck is exactly the same. Now they might change 1 or 2 cards around, so keep that in mind. Marinator is what we call the starter. So Altergeist is multi-faker is the engine. Marinator is the starter. I know this deck better than anybody. So with Marinator, she's a starter and a comboer. So she can, if she's normal summoned, she'll set an Altergeist trap from the deck. We don't have very many Altergeist traps, so she starts it, she doesn't finish it, but she can help finish the game because of her second effect. So by getting the first one off, and you must normal her, you can't special summon her to get the effect for the Altergeist trap. You must normal her. She sets directly to spell and trap zones, which means that unless if you get hit by something like Effect Veiler or Infinite Impermanence without protocol in the field, her effect will still go off. So her second effect, what it allows you to do is send 1 Altergeist monster from your select 1 Altergeist card you control and 1 Altergeist monster in your graveyard. Send the card on the field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon that monster. What happens in that variation is basically you can use Marinator. Sorry, you can use Marinator for her own effect, or you can use another Altergeist on field to get into like your Altergeist Hextia, your Altergeist Prime Banshee, your Memory Gant, whatever the hell you want. Again, she's the main combo in this deck, and that's where you get all your plays off, is with Marinator. That's where you make your money. So next is another 3, and it's Meluseek. Meluseek can be a starter, and it can be a finisher for a lot of people. For me, if I get Meluseek first, the first card I try to lay down is definitely Dark Renewal, because I can trade Meluseek for a multi-faker, and multi-faker for Silk, and then Meluseek will search me probably Marinator or Kangiri based on what I'm looking at on the other side. So whenever she's sent to the graveyard, she will add a Altergeist straight to hand, and if she punches directly, which she can do, she can send 1 card on the field to the graveyard, like just automatic send, not a target, just send. Well, I guess it is target, yeah. Target's 1, so anything that can be targeted, it can't be targeted. You kind of can't send it, but anything else, go ahead and just do that. I mean, if your opponent has Mystic Mime on, this is our removal, because more than likely they're gonna have 2 monsters on at some point in time. Just put 1 on, and boop, knock that sucker right off. So Meluseek. Next is Altergeist Sequetos. So Sequetos is very important because he is the one we bring out off a multi-faker 99.9% of the time, unless if it's the 1% for Meluseek. And that's just for a game finisher. Game ending. Or game finisher, whatever the hell you want to call it. So what Silk can do is he can return one Altergeist card you control to the hand, then target one card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So, like I said, if it can't be targeted, this bad boy is going to get you all day long. And if I know that I can't get through targets, I will not go to this. I will go to May You Seek and let May You Seek add some Altergeist. Because I'm not an idiot. Like I said, to play this deck, you really got to know what you're doing. And if you listen to me explain it, you can kind of grasp where I'm going with this. Next is Altergeist Pookery. So Pookery is very, very important, and you have to know its effect. Sorry about that. Let me fix this real quick. Kind of fell off here. There you go. If I can get it to stay, would be nice. Yeah, you can see the little box I got it on. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, we'll just put it right there. Because I've actually got it on a deck box. So there we go. So that's actually a better look, actually. I like that. So Altergeist Pookery. What Pookery does for us is, and you gotta, like I said, you have to know her effect very, very well. So Altergeist Pookery. If an Altergeist card you control would be used as link material for an Altergeist card, this card is in your hand, can be used as material, which means if I have just Marionette and I have this card in hand, I can then use this card as the material for a link summon straight from the hand, getting me in the Altergeist Hextia. Or if I have May You Seek, I can then do that for Hextia. May You Seek pops off and adds another Altergeist. You know, that's how you combo in this deck. And then once you do that, this card has a once per duel effect to add itself back to hand. It's kind of stupid. But as long as you get Prime Banshee, you can then target this card and return it back to hand. And then just keep repeating. Because as long as you can keep getting this card back to your hand, it is going to be a nightmare. I play this at 1 because you don't want to see this a whole lot. Only when you need it. Very important. If you could run it at 2, it'd be fine, but I don't. In the future, I probably would run this at 2. If you ran it at 2, I don't think it would hurt anything. It's not like it's going to be an engine ender. But if you normal summon Pook and then you use the ability of Pook to link summon, you can then add one back on the end. And, you know, you're already miles ahead. So if you had 2 Altergeist Pookery, it's not really going to matter at all. So whatever you want to do on the Figmentations. This deck is at exactly 40 cards, so leaving this at 1 was my choice. You'll see all the other shit that's in this, and you'll be like, okay, that makes sense. So, there's Altergeist Pookery. Again, you have to know your effects. You have to know your activations, your reactions to every play, your chains, everything. You have to be smart. Next is Altergeist Conquery, or Conquery. So Conquery is literally the worst Altergeist in the deck. And you say, man, oh, it's got to be pretty bad. Actually, no, it is very good. But it is the worst Altergeist to have. Normally, if I pull my 5 cards and go first, I don't want to see this card. So, why this card is the worst one? Number 1, it's a level 5. So, you can't do anything with it. The only way to special summon this card is if your opponent declares an attack on an Altergeist card. Or if you control an Altergeist card when it declares an attack. That would be the more correct way to say it. So, basically, you can use Altergeist Conquery, special summon it, and negate that attack. And if it's special summon, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls, negate its effects, while it and this monster are face-up on the field. So, Conquery can stop it, which is very, very neat. So, there's Conquery, the worst Altergeist in the deck. And then, pretty standard, I want to run ghost spells, but I don't have them yet, so for now, we'll just run 2 Veilers. If you have ghost spell and you have all these cards, definitely putting ghost spell works good for the format. It really does. It works fantastic for this format. So, if you've got ghost spell, take that out. That's all I gotta say on effect failure. Because effect failure is a target one on the field, where ghost spell is when the activation hit the activation. So I'm not a big fan of pots at all, but with the way I've got the deck right now, first time you're ever gonna see this, triple pot of extrav. Pot of extravagance here lately has been so fucking clutch that I could not see right. If you use pot of extrav in this deck, you will see results like nobody's business, because you'll pull so many traps. There was one game where I literally hit pot of extrav, pulled a dimensional barrier, an effect veiler, and a multi-faker, and was able to play continually because I used this card. So this card is very, very good. Of course, you have to activate it at the start of the main phase. At the time, you banish 36 cards from your extra deck. I can banish 12 cards from my extra deck and be fine because of the way Altergeist works. And then, you draw 2 cards off of these based on that effect. So if you use 2 in a row, you'll be banishing 12 cards. You better have your Altergeist in order before you do that. If you want to banish 9, that's fine. I always start off, if I pull the first extrav, normally I'm into Hexia, or if it's first turn duel, normally I can banish 6 and be just fine and roll about my day. But any time other than that, unless if I got memory gain on, I'll only banish 3 because I'm trying to get into my game ender, which is memory gant. And if I banish him, that's not good. So, pot of extra. Very, very mandatory, I will say. If you got prosperity, that wouldn't be a bad one either. But definitely one of the two. Then we got the secret village of spellcasters. Of course, if you have a spellcaster, you can stop your opponent from activating spell cards. And if I control no spellcasters, I cannot activate spell cards. So I couldn't activate my own pot of extrav if I don't have any Altergeist. You're like, those are 2 big negatives. Yes, but you're not going to run into that a whole lot in this deck. There are a lot of fucking traps in this deck. And those traps get you into more Altergeist. So, with that being said, Hidden Village spellcasters will do nothing to this deck. I promise you. You can run it, and it'd be fun. So, Sacred Village. What I do love about it is it keeps my opponents from actually playing spell cards like Flandres and Branded. So, 1, terraforming, very important. Of course, it's limited to 1, so you can only use 1. I've thought about Land of the Demise, but I don't want to pull into brick cards, so I figured just the 3 and the terraforming could do the job. Plus, with extrav, like more chances to pull my Sacred Village spellcasters. So, and yes, at this point, if you have not noticed my mat, I got it from playing in locals, and it is a Live Twins mat. Because I will be building Live Twin splites when they come out. So, little thing I want to do. 1, Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is very important because if you get Ash, Ghost Spell, whatever, and you have this card in your hand, just play it. Quick play, and get rid of that son of a bitch. So, do like Called by. Great interaction. When they unlimit this to 3, I will be playing 3 copies of this bad boy. So, it's Called by. Okay, now for the traps. This is pretty standard. 2 protocol. Some people use 3. I'm only using 2. It's very important. When you cut down things in decks like these, you tend to go for traps a whole lot more than you do everything else. So 2 protocol is fine, gives you the free negate, and believe it or not, it can't be negated unless if you hit impermanence and it hits the line of protocol, which that'd be a big brain play. And next is Altergeist Manifestation. So Altergeist Manifestation, you target 1 Altergeist in your graveyard, supposed to summon it, and equip it with this card. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. Vice versa, you can banish this card from your graveyard and target 1 Altergeist trapped in your graveyard and add to your hand. That I only use if I am out of options. More than likely, you use this, equip it to Silk, you link off Silk, and then Silk adds this back, rinse, water, and repeat. You can keep getting this card back and keep getting Silk on the field. By the end of it, your opponent's like, okay, this is fucking annoying. Can you stop? And no. By the time that you link up to Memory Gant and you get this card out, you're basically going to grab Altergeist Hextia, put it right beside Memory Gant, and it's going to gain the attack. So, yeah, very, very broken. So, I do advise this card. Like I said, you have to know the plays. I know the plays by looking at these cards. Next is 3 Personal Spoofing. So personal spoofing is what you use to shuffle your Altergeist in. So if you get Kangiri, you just use this. You shuffle that son of a bitch right back in the deck, and you pull Multi-Faker. Once you pull Multi-Faker, you will be able to activate Multi-Faker because you use this card's effect. So basically, personal spoofing will activate Multi-Faker once it searches it. Kind of crazy little combo there, but I love it. Also, if you infinite impermanence on your first turn and you have Multi-Faker in hand, you can then special summon Multi-Faker off of imperm. It's kind of crazy how that works, but personal spoofing, it's one of the best cards in this deck, and you have to run it. Unfortunately, it's not an Altergeist card, but you still do need it if you play Altergeist. Next, we run triple copies of Crackdown. This is a very important card because it's not once per turn. So if you pull 3 of these and your opponent starts special summoning a bunch of shit, just start cracking it down. Seriously. With Crackdown, I took a Mirror Jade, and with the second Crackdown, I took a what was it? A Proskinian. I literally cracked down and took it. Crazy how it works. So Crackdown is very, very good. Now, what you must know is while you control that monster, it cannot attack or activate its effect. When the monster leaves the field, you destroy this card. Precisely. It's not that difficult to really understand. Crackdown is a pretty damn good card, and I'm running it at 3 because it is such a game warping card. Especially in this meta, if you play cards like Crackdown, you will stop a lot of decks. And you'll be crazy. You'll be amazed by how good Crackdown really is when it comes to the matchup. And when you play a deck like this one, it pretty much shuts you down. So, Crackdown. Now, I will say this before I even begin with the extra deck. I got like 8 more cards to deal with in the main. If you have access code talker and you want to put him in your extra deck, I would just fire right away and throw him in there. Because with Crackdown, that's an easy access code talker. I'm just going to say it the way everybody is thinking it. If you can access code talker that, go right a fucking ahead. I would throw Selene in there too, and the Dark Charmer, because they just link right on up. It's basically a gimme at this point. As long as you can get to the link too, you're good, boy. You are good. So next, obviously, we need to stop Branded at all costs. And we need to stop Sword Soul. And you probably want to stop Drytron and everything else upon that nature. We play D-Barrier. D-Barrier does not affect this deck whatsoever. We link everything. So activate D-Barrier, call one of the few. Me, for if I was facing Drytron, I would definitely call Ritual before I call anything else. Unless if they go and try to Xyz summon, then I'm going to call Xyz. And if you face Pendulums, of course, you're going to call Pendulums. It's pretty damn easy. You get the drift. And also the effects get completely negated. So with this card, that is my one way through a Psychic in Punisher, because unfortunately the activated effect, this is not an activated effect, this is a continuous effect. So you can get by cards like that too, so keep that in mind. Dimensional Barrier is a pain in the ass, especially when you know how to get around cards. So yeah, very neat. Then you'll run 3 infinite impermanents as always. Altergeist, very smart. You run infinite impermanents and you get the multi-faker trigger effect. So multi-fake, as long as you can do this first turn, you got it. If not, just set it, let it go, start blasting columns. That's infinite impermanents for you. It's not that hard to understand. If you don't know infinite impermanents, you can read the damn card's effect. It's not that damn difficult. And then we run to Dark Renewal. Dark Renewal is a very important card again. If you've not seen it in my deck profiles, it is very, very important to use, because Dark Renewal, whenever you're running normal special summons a monster, whether they use Branded Opening and they get into freaking Alibur, they send Tragedy, great, fantastic. You add your Dramature, great. I'm going to use Dark Renewal and we're going to tribute our cards, and I'm going to get into Multi-Faker, and I'm going to get into Silk off of one variation. Yeah, I know Super Poly is the thing, but with Sacred Village of Spellcasters on the field, Super Poly is not a problem anymore. So keep these in mind. So your chances of actually getting your Sacred Village of Spellcasters is 4. Is a 4 out of 40, so it's a 10% pull. You look at it like that. You add your 3 extra. So if you extra, your chances go up to like I think 16%. And then if you keep activating your Altergeist effects and keep flooding, you're going to run into a Spellcasters at some point in time. But also, not only are you going to be stopping it with Spellcasters, you're also going to be stopping it with D-Barrier. So, you know, there is that boosted up to like a 25% rate that you're going to get into something good. So keep that in mind. So beyond that, we're going to get into the extra deck now. And my deck profiles are taking a lot longer to get done now. I'll be alright. Okay, so we're going to start off with Link 1s. I run double copies of Link Karibo. Very, very important there. And then I run the 1 Salmon Great Almara. Obviously, these are staples in the Altergeist. If you could run Access Code Talker, you could probably drop this guy or one of the Link Karibos in order to do so. It's whatever you want to do. For the next 3 that we use, it's definitely going to be Relinquished Anima, Nightmare Unicorn, Nightmare Phoenix, and Nightmare Unicorn. I'm sorry. So, you know, you got those. I would definitely use these. These are really good links. You can use whatever you want. You could use IP for that. You could use the Dark Charmer, Selene, and then Access Code. Whatever the hell you want to do. It's your guys' build, not mine. This is my build. Access Code Talker, Selene, and Dark Charmer will be in this deck by the end of this. I make you sure of it. This is just a very, 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 very high meta build that doesn't have those cards yet. So that's literally the whole cap off to this. Okay, so now we're going to get on with the Altergeist cards. Obviously, we run 3 copies of Altergeist Hextia. So Altergeist Hextia is very, very important. This is the card that I said we get into this card with Pukari. Ooh, first turn. Yeah, it's pretty freaking easy. So basically, it's just 2 Altergeist monsters. Not that hard to comprehend. Gains attack equal to the original attack of each Altergeist monster it points to. So, you need this card to point at Mimrigant. So it means you have to have Mimrigant below it or beside it. So, keep that in mind. Excuse me. Brother. If you go late game and you know how to send one to the graveyard to the fucking Marinator, this setup is actually very fucking easy. To explain it, I don't have the freaking setup to do it right now. But basically, you take Memorgant from the main zone, because that's where it's going to be linked from. You send it to your grave, you get freaking Hextee out, and you put it right beside Memorgant. Or, not Memorgant, fucking Marionetta. When you do that, or the opposite, basically, the arrow, where it's pointing, put it on the other side of Marionetta. So put it on the right side of Marionetta, or it's on the left. Okay, problem solved. Okay. Then you use Manifestation, you grab Memorgant, you put it right beside freaking Hextee, and then you can just tribute Hextee, it gains 4,300, and now Memorgant has 7,100. Pretty damn simple. That's all you have to do. I made it complicated, that's all you gotta do. And then if this guy is sent to the graveyard due to whatever effect, if he leaves the field and goes to the graveyard, you can add one Altergeist card. Not monster, not trap card, card. So, keep that in mind. Run it at 3. No less. That is mandatory. Absolutely mandatory. Next is new mandatory. 3. Altergeist Prime Banshee. So, with Prime Banshee, it's very important that you do use these, because there's 2 or more Altergeist monsters. During the main phase quick effect, you contribute one other Altergeist monster, supposed to summon one Altergeist monster from your deck to a zone this card points to. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one Altergeist card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Fantastic. So basically, what happens is during the main phase, you can activate Prime Banshee. Doesn't say which main phase. You contribute, let's say, Milieu Seek, and then you could get into Multi-Faker. I have been neglecting his ability a lot, and that I should not have done. That was actually stupid of me. Because it's fucking retarded. Like, I should have paid attention. Even though it says tribute on Altergeist card, as soon as you send it to graveyard, the effect's gonna go off. It's fucking stupid. And it gives you a 3-for-1, basically. Because he's gonna get you Multi-Faker. Multi-Faker's gonna grab Silk or Milieu Seek, and then Milieu Seek in the grave is actually gonna add another fucking Altergeist. So, Conquery or Pukeri, probably. Yeah, very dumb. Did not read this card, and I was like, ooh, that should be a mandatory of 3. That way, I could actually put Pot of Extrav in here and throw away a bunch of Altergeist. Yeah, very smart. So, Altergeist Prime Banshee. And he's fucking dumb. The more and more you can link, if you can get into 2 Memorgants, I do advise it. So, again, we are running, guess what? 3 Prime Banshees. And 3 Memorgants. How neat. So we're running 3 of all the Altergeist. During the main phase, you contribute one other card. This card gains attack equal to the tributed monster's attack on the field. When this card destroys a monster by battle, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls, and if you do, this card can make another attack in a row. If this card would be destroyed, you can banish one monster from your graveyard instead. You can use each effect once per turn. So, to pair off with this, obviously you run triple, set these down. Triple, and guess what? Triple. So basically you run 3 of those, 3 of these, and 3 of these. So basically, if I can get them side by side here, I'll give you a good little neat look at them, because I did this in the last video and I guess people loved it. So basically, let's see if I can slide these down just about. Or I can give you a good fucking look of them. There we go. Oh, there you go. These, again, you run through copies of all the Altergeist. It's very important that you do use these. I'm just going to lay the 3 right beside each other now that we've gotten that view in. That way we can make a good timestamp here on prime. And then one memory Gantt. So obviously these are your main three. This is a link deck if you've never seen Altergeist before. They're very, very important. They all have a graveyard effect except for memory Gantt. Memory Gantt you want to try to keep on the field as much as possible. Memory Gantt is the ultimate win condition, and if you get Memory Gantt on and they cannot banish him, he is going to be a problem because he's got some fucking deadly effects. I mean, if you wanted to, all you had to do was keep throwing out freaking Marionetter or Faker, and two or three turns, and this card's at some pretty stout attack power. Rather, if you just go Hex DI onto Memory Gantt, tribute it, it's 71, then it goes up to freaking 10,000 something. Yeah, it gets pretty crazy. So basically, as long as you get Memory Gantt, it's going to be a pretty bad day for your opponent. But with that, I am done with the deck profile for today. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I am Pierce Nation, and I will see you guys. Actually, no, I'm not. I am an idiot. I told you guys I was going to show you an extra deck. Well, I've got to show you guys an extra deck now. Shit. I forgot. Not an extra deck, side deck. Holy shiza. Well, this is definitely making the video now. Because I went too far to go back. So, know that. Even content creators make mistakes. And I made a mistake, and I did it on video. So everybody's going to see my mistake. That's okay. I was getting ready to sign off. Dee-hee. Not today. Alright. So let's go ahead and get into the side deck. I forgot all about this. I literally told you guys, I'll show you the side deck. No, I didn't show you the side deck. Remember that the side deck is pretty jank from my memories. Yeah, it's pretty jank. I'm literally looking through it right now. Yeah, it's pretty jank. So the reason it's jank is because my locals is kind of jank. You'll basically see. I don't really see a lot of these very often, but like I do face some adventurer tokens. I don't really face any Sword Soul. I used to, but not really anymore. Kind of wish somebody would play Sword Soul. That would give me a reason to play these token collectors, but yeah, we'll start off with them. I do run 2 token collectors in my side. They're very important for, again, the adventure package and the Sword Soul matchups. But I hardly face Sword Soul. I face Adventurer all the fucking time, and I get tired of seeing it. So, Adventurer tokens for there. Next is my Dogmatica package. I run 1 Ecclesia, and I use 1 Knighted. Very, very important to know the effects that on this card's effect, he can continuously gain attack each turn. So, he'll continuously gain 500 due to his effect. And Ecclesia's effect to add another Dogmatica card will actually lock you out of your extra deck, so that's why these are on the side and not in the main anymore. You must be careful when using these cards. So besides that, this is Dogmatica package. Everybody knows them. Pretty damn easy. You can special summon I think either of these as long as an extra deck monster is on the field. And also Ecclesia can't be destroyed by an extra deck monster on the field. I want to have a chance to talk about this. If you're interested in branded, they just announced the new branded Ecclesia. I'll have to get you the actual name of it, what it is. I'll show it on a video. I am excited to see that card. That card is fucking powerful. So with that, that's all I run for the Dogmatica stuff. I mean, obviously, I've got searchers for the Dogmatica stuff, obviously. So, 1 artifact, Lancia, very important. Send it to grave, keep them banishing shit. Pretty easy. 1 Nibiru. Pretty fucking simple. you know, you face something like Drytron, and they're giving you trouble, side this bitch in, and that pretty much solves the problem. No, you seek, sends the token away. Simple. Imperial. One prohibition. Prohibition, basically called Fallen Albaz, or whatever the fuck you want to call, and yeah, you can't use it. So, prohibition's there. One mistaken arrest. Again, to the end of his turn, neither player can add cards to hand except by drawing them. So, very, very neat. If you want to run 2 or 3 of those, you're fine to do so. The one card that actually makes a lot of sense in this deck, unpopular to other people who run like branded Despia, Blue Eyes, Cyber Dragon. By God, you fucking name it. Any deck, including Flanderies. Okay. Run this fucking card. There can only be one. This one is a serious card to run. Now, why this card is so good in this deck? There can only be one. So basically what the card says is each player can only control one monster of each type. If a player controls 2 or more monsters of the same type, they must send some to the graveyard. So they can only control one monster of that type. So basically you can only control one monster of that type. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the Altergeist and give you an idea of why this doesn't bother us. Okay, so for one, is each type or attribute? It says type. So this might actually bother us a little bit. We're gonna have to rely on Pook when we do this, because that is type. So the type is going to be spellcaster, apparently. So with all these being spellcasters, that creates a little bit of a problem. And figure. Yeah. So with them all being the same type, and the type they are or spellcasters, this card could be problematic, especially with Faker's Effect. So keep that in mind. We will have to this card is one to be thought of very, very, very generously. So keep that in mind, that when you do play this card, you need to have Memory Gan on the field. It's very, very important that you do so in that aspect, so don't get it confused. But that's exactly what I thought. So with this card, make sure that you've got game before you decide to throw down this card. And when you do, throw them all away except for Memorgant. Make sure you use Memorgant's effect first. You need that giant attack boost, something that they cannot come back from. Because once you throw this card on, that's it. It's locked out. More than likely, they're not playing some great removal, something like Lightning Storm. Even if they do Lightning Storm, I don't think they're going to come back from Memorgant. Because Memorgant can jump up to some pretty ridiculous high attack, so there's also Memorgant for that. So next is Dogmatic Punishment. Of course, I get searches for Dogmatic cards, so I'm going to run 2 punishment. I don't run the actual side deck cards for it. They're just for sending 1 side deck card just to pop a card. You know, whatever. It doesn't really matter. If you wanted to run 2 Alter Antithesis, that wouldn't give you double pops. So, very important that you use these appropriately. Very, very important. The next one is Summon Limit. If you want to run 3 of these, go right ahead. That's not going to bother anything. Basically, neither player can summon 2 or more times per turn. Normal summons count toward this limit. Gated cards / effects that would summon do not count. So basically, if you negate cards or you stop effects that would summon, they don't count. So they have to summon 2 cards in order for summon limit to hit. And the reason we run this in Altergeist is we don't have to summon a whole lot to get where we're going. So with this card, basically, you could summon 1, use Pook's effect, Hextia first turn, then they've got to try to do something. You could multi-faker, then get Silk. And you see where I'm at? Because basically what you do is you lock your opponent out. Because of the way this card is written, neither player can summon more than 2 times per turn. Once you hit that 2 times and you got that Hextia on, Hextia's got enough attack that they've got to have something to get through that. And me, if I was you and I was smart, I would go straight Marinator. Put that thing at 3100. There is not a 2-card summon that's going to get you higher than Marinator. So, very important to use summon limit correctly. You want to run this at 3? I would. I'm going to run this at 3 in the future, but for now I'm running it as 1. Summon limit is very, very good. And then the last card I run is obviously Witch of Strike. Witch of Strike is a omni fucking negate. It's ridiculous in this deck. Actually, cards I should be running in this deck, now that I'm looking at it. I should probably run 3 Solemn Judgments and a Strike, but I'm not, because I'm an idiot. So probably fucking should. Or 3 Judgments and a Strike. Whatever I want to do. But, yeah. So, these cards are very, very important. They obviously give way to your success in a lot of ways. Again, I would have to find cards to cut to throw those in there, because they are very, very important, and why I'm not running them in the trap deck is beyond me. I don't fucking know. But I've tested this version of the deck, and it went 6-4 against Branded. So, I mean, it does have a win rate success against Branded, and it has a high win percentage against every other deck. Where this deck struggles is against the Branded matchups, but for the most part, since I corrected the deck, threw a lot of cards in the deck, and after my first time getting my ass whipped by Branded, I actually did not play this deck, because to that point it was 22-1, lost to a Sky Striker deck, mainly Mystic Mine. Obviously, I'm not going to win that. I don't have any real removal from Mystic Mine at the time. I didn't have a way to keep it from getting on. So, you know, it just fucking, it was there, and I was like, oh, that's great. That's perfect. I can't really fucking do anything about it, so. With the way the deck is now, where I have Secret Village Spellcasters, I can keep Mystic Mine from coming on the field. So, I haven't had a need for the strikes yet, but I'm sure in the future I will have to have a reason to run these home strikes and judgments. I will have to go through my deck and see what the fuck I need and see what I don't. But for now, I really don't see a problem with what I'm doing. I don't have to have a reason to have some judgments and strikes. They do help out, yes. They are counter traps. They are fucking ridiculous. You get them off. And I love hits above Solemn Strike. It's my favorite thing to do. Especially in this Altergeist deck. It is so fucking ridiculous. To be honest, you could probably run 3 judgments and 3 strikes, depending on your draws, basically. So, you could probably cut out the Veilers, and I'm trying to see what else I can cut out. I need Terraforming. I like Called by the Grave. I like my 3 Extravagance too. It'd be fucking hard. But basically, the way you need to have this Altergeist deck with the ratio of monsters in here, because I'm going to go ahead and give them to you. I'm going to tell you how many monsters there are, including the hand traps. So, with all monsters in the main deck, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 monsters in the deck. That's 15 out of 40. So you're already down 25 cards to 15. So you don't need to make this matter any worse. Obviously. So, you need to kind of, you know, think about everything. Excuse me. But basically you're down a lot. So there are ways to get Altergeist cards. Like if you get any of the Altergeist cards, Dark Renewal helps out immensely getting these cards out of the deck. That's why we run this at 2. I'll probably be at 3 in the future. I guarantee it. So just keep in mind that. Like I said, decks are never done. You always adjust. Then spoofing, 3 spoofing. They help get the Altergeist cards by sending Manifestation and the 2 protocols back. So there are other ways to search. And like I said, also on top of that, you're running 3 pot of Extrav. So you're gonna be pulling into an Altergeist card sooner or later. And then when you do, you're just waiting for this card. Your Sacred Village of Spellcasters or your Terraforming. If I can quit hitting the camera today. So again, it's a matter of time before you pull into these major cards, and you can kind of slow your opponent down with Deep Barrier. You can slow them down with Crackdown. I mean, the list goes on and on and on with this deck. This deck is fucking ridiculous. There is so many negates. There's so many stops. That's crazy. And I didn't explain Altergeist Hextia's best effect. So, you want more negates. Here you go, boy. Here's one. Altergeist Hextia. So, let's say I do not have my spellcasters, and you try to activate, I don't know, Mystic Mine. Well, this little fucking guy can negate it. So basically, what happens is if a spell or trap is activated, you contribute 1 Altergeist card this card points to and negate that activation. So basically, when you power this card up, you're going to you're basically just going to negate and negate, and then you're gonna negate, because that's what Altergeist Hextia does. So we don't have to worry about spells and traps, and we don't have to run removal because our cards do it for us. This guy does it, my Yusik does it, and basically Kangiri does it too, but he's more of negating attacks and negating monsters. But still, these Altergeists are very, very strong. You have to know where to use them and when. When I'm playing a duel, I know exactly my plays. I know exactly where to stop people. And I know every single variation. You have to know every single stop in this deck in order to be able to beat this deck on its own. Not only that, you have to know where to hit this deck. And I tell you this right now, there are not a lot of players who know where to hit this deck. If I had to start with this deck, I don't even know where I'd start. I'm going to be honest. It is tough. My best guess would be either Multi-Faker or Marinator, but even then, you're still not stopping this deck. Because there is one special card that allows me to keep playing. And that special card is Altergeist Protocol. The activations and the effects of Altergeist cards on your field cannot be negated your opponent. So, damn, that must fucking suck. We have a trap that does that, and it is continuous. Those of you who don't know, I can negate, and if you do destroy it, I can use that effect once per turn of this fucking card. It is fucking ridiculous. And it doesn't go anywhere, he just keeps negating every fucking turn. Altergeist is one of the most broken decks out there. They're not the most broken, that would be branded. And I've been hearing a lot of hype about splites. Splites this, splites that. You've probably seen it all over my channel if you go through my comment sections or you read my descriptions where I talk about splites a lot. I have went over splites enough that they are pieces of shit and they might be meta relevant, maybe, depending on the situation. I'm not sure how the fuck you do it, but go for it, I guess. Because without using splice Stereons, and I forget the other one. What the fuck was the other one? Shit. I don't remember. It's not Live Twins. It's something else. That they're not really that big. The best variation I found was Live Twin Splites. That's the best one. And they have problems facing Exosisters. Exosisters fucking suck ass. I cannot even believe that I even have to compare two decks that are just fucking trash to stuff like this. If OCG had multi-faker at 3, I don't think Splites would be that big of a problem, to be honest. If Splites had all the branded cards at 3, like we do, I don't think the OCG would have a problem with Splites because they're not that powerful. All they do is keep you from summoning cards and keep you from trying to play like Altergeist, but they're a shittier version of Altergeist. They don't do the job as well as the Altergeist do. Altergeist is the best disruption deck there is because of their ability to completely stop you in your tracks, and you can't do anything. That's what's so good about Altergeist is it will stop you from doing literally everything. The minute you get comfortable is the minute it smacks you right in the fucking mouth. And that's the truth about Altergeist. You cannot be comfortable around this deck because it will hit you right in the face. I had a guy playing Brandon. You know, he was getting comfortable, but he was still on his toes because, you know, he says oh, he was reading cards. He's like, I think I know where to hit this. He said, but I'm not sure. And I'm like, go for it. Because not even I know where to hit this deck. My best knowledge from all the Altergeist cards that I use is if I would try to hit this deck, I would probably start with Protocol, get rid of Protocol, and then go from there, because Protocol keeps me from being able to negate. And actually, if I'm going to talk for like 8 minutes, I'm going to pause this and actually set the camera up on me. Hang on. But, you know, again, like I said, I do see where I'd hit this deck in particular. I definitely hit Protocol. Again, I do go over cards as I read them, so I definitely hit Protocol, and that's the most important one I'd hit. And the next one I would stop is Manifestation. Once you stop those, your main hits are Marionetta and Multi-Faker, because you can stop Altergeist that way. That's the best way to do it. But if you get stuck in a game with Multi-Faker popping on and off, on and off, on and off, pretty much waiting to die. Because next turn, if you can't get either of those off, they're just going to link off into Altergeist Hextia, Prime Banshee, Memory Gate. It's going to be a continuous cycle of, oh shit, what the fuck do I do? And you don't do anything. You just lose. That's how Altergeist work. Like, it's ridiculous. There is no fluency. You kind of just lose. So with the Altergeist, that's a good way to do it. And there's not really much more to Altergeist besides they link climb fast. They're not slow anymore. They used to be a slow deck. If they make any more Altergeist cards, Altergeist will be the most broken deck. Be honest. Right now it is branded, and branded keeps getting more and more cards. Every single day I'm waking up and they're like, ooh, new branded, new branded, new branded, new branded. That is ridiculous. I've seen that for no archetype in my life. Like, not even Drytron has any new cards. They haven't got a new card since Exotic Drytron. And branded 3 days in a row has gotten new cards. I'm not talking about one card. I'm talking like 10. Branded has got 10 cards. Matter of fact, next video I do, I will literally go over all the new branded cards that they have added that we don't have yet. Because it's that fucking insane. They just came out with branded Banishment. They just came out with Alba, which I have on the way. Like I said, I'm building branded, but you know, I waited for the announcement of the new branded cards before I decided to do so, because I knew this format was going to shift. They've got to unban Electromite. They're going to unban Electromite. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you this now because it's already been reprinted. When cards get reprinted, they unban them. So, like, a lot like Skill Drain. So, like, they're like, ooh, Skill Drain's in the new set. What are they going to do? TCG, unlimited it. They reprinted Regeki, unlimited Regeki. Pretty simple, right? When they reprint cards, they take them off the ban list. When they reprint cards, they unlimit them. So, yeah. Like Yada coming off. Let's see that one coming. Didn't get to reprint Yada. So, kind of fucking weird about that one. But, you know, you just gotta pay attention to the market. The market is not the best thing to look at. You'll see a deck that's like $800. 3 weeks down the road, it's $300. So keep that in mind. When I bought Drytron, it was $800. Now when you buy Drytron, it's like $280, $300. It's not even worth shit because it's not that good. And you know, when cards are not that good, people don't play them. They don't really care about them. They're not real big. So you know, when you go for cards like that, you have to know what are the good ones and what are the bad ones. If you want me to start going over the market every day, I can. Doesn't really bother me a bit, but it's not the main priority of my channel. My channel is to show you cards that you may not have known were good, be very, very good, and Altergeist are one of them. They're cheap. You could build this deck for like, I don't know, like $200 fucking dollars, like $150, $100, whatever. Like these cards, I bought all the Altergeist, max rarity, $30. If you're wondering how many cards that is 9 extra. And I'll count the main deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 cards in the main. That includes the personal subscription, by the way. Because I count it as an Altergeist card if new, it isn't. 19 cards in the main, 9 in the extra deck, $30. So, like I said, I go over cheap decks, but I also make really expensive decks. Like that Blue Eyes deck. That Blue Eyes deck took on Branded and went 2-1. We played 3 games. I said, do you want to taste Blue Eyes? He said, go ahead. You can't do anything. I threw on Blue Eyes. Changed the game. Why? I built a Blue Eyes deck specifically for that matchup. Specifically made it for the matchup. Like, nothing else I would rather do than throw on Blue Eyes and have it go head to head with Branded. Because I have super polys in that damn thing. I got the freaking small world. I've got everything. You know, and when you get... I never got him in the Jet Dragon lockdown, but if I would have, I definitely would have won because Guardian Chimera wouldn't have been able to pop a card. It wouldn't have been able to really do anything but draw, and that's all it would do. Because if you get stuck on a Jet Dragon lockdown, you can't pop anything. I don't know if Guardian Chimera effect says otherwise. Guardian Chimera will be here tomorrow. I will have Guardian Chimera in my deck. I've already looked up the shipping. I already talked to the dude. He done told me. So he knows what it's going for. He knows his deck profile. He is a viewer on this channel. He is a subscriber on this channel. So he made sure that I had tracking, so I would be able to see my most expensive card that I bought. So Guardian Chimera will be here tomorrow. And for the next 2 weeks, I will have Branded done. It's, I'd say, about a week and a half at this point, because most of them have shipped, but there are still a few that haven't shipped. Like I got 2 Branded openings that haven't shipped. I will then talk to the shipper on those, and if they do not ship my cards, I will demand a full refund. obviously, because I am a YouTuber. I get things out to the public as fast as possible, especially decks like that, where I know in the future this deck is going to be fucking ridiculous. It doesn't matter if they ban Tragedy. It's not going to make a damn difference. It doesn't matter if they ban Dramature, whatever ones. But in opening, doesn't matter. But in opening, good card. Does it break the deck? Fuck no, it don't. It does not. You know, you get some extra activations off of opening. Great. I'm glad the OCG has limited branded opening to, I think, 1 or 2, whatever it's at. And then branded in red is at like 2. Woo! They only run as 2 anyway, so you know, you got all these cards that they're trying to limit and keep people from using. Great. Fantastic. You know, we'll go over this more and more later. This is all the time I have for today, so gotta hear me rant a little bit about other decks and variations. But I'm Pierce Nation. I'll see you guys in the next video. Pierce Nation out.